Good evening and welcome back to the channel. The efficiency era of PC gaming is over. If you're planning on building a Ryzen 7000 series or Intel Raptor Lake PC with one of the latest graphics cards from Nvidia or AMD, getting the right power supply has never been more important. Even if you're just adding one of the new graphics cards to your current build. With the above in mind, I want to focus on the RTX4090 because by now you would have watched or heard Nvidia's announcement of the 40 series graphics cards at the GTC keynote. The performance of the 4090 has certainly piqued my interest, and I would imagine that of my subscribers too, especially with the link to Microsoft Flight Simulator and DLSS 3. Now quickly talking, quick about DLSS 3. I've seen forum posts on the Microsoft Flight Simulator forums that are stating that DLSS 3 will not work or be implemented with VR. And although that statement is sort of true at the moment, I'd say it's far too early to make presumptions. It's a bit like saying that DLSS 3 does not work on 30 series cards when it has already been acknowledged that, well, it could, but it doesn't at the moment run very well. Anyway, that's for another discussion, and this brings me on to the 4090's actual performance. Until we get reviews from the big tech tubers, we can only go off Nvidia's somewhat difficult to decipher performance charts from the keynote. But if they are accurate, I don't think we will have to worry about DLSS 3 working with VR for a while because of the pure rasterization performance. Now, something that you should be thinking about if you're buying a 4090 after you've checked it actually fits in your case is the power supply. And just ask yourself this question now: is your power supply up to the job? Will it work with a 4090? Well, in my current system, I have an 850 watt power supply unit, and it's been running my RTX 3080 Ti without issues, and it should run an RTX 3090. So why would I have a problem running an RTX 4090? Well, the 4090 is rated at 450 watts, but it can pull up to 600 watts. It uses a new 16-pin single power connector called the 12 volt high power or 12 volt HPR. I say new, but it was actually used on the RTX 3090 Ti, but the 3090 Ti had a minimum of a 1000 watt power supply requirement. So that all current PC owners won't have a 12 volt high power connector on the power supply, so adapters will hopefully be provided with any of the graphics cards being sold. Now, the adapters split the single 12 volt high power connector into 4 8-pin PCIe cables, and it's important that each 8-pin PCIe connector is plugged into its own socket on the power supply, and they're not daisy chained. Don't do that. Now, each PCIe 8-pin plug can pull up to 150 watts of power, and the 4 of them make up the 600 watts required for the GPU. Now, this power requirement has been known about for some time, and that's why under Intel the new ATX3 power supply standard was created. Now, new ATX3 power supplies should have the single 12 volt high power connector as part of the power supply, and it is what's been recommended to be used with the RTX 4090. Now, you may be thinking, if the new GPU come with an adapter, why would you need a new power supply? And to be honest, it's a bit like this. If you buy a 4090, you have enough spare PCIe connectors on your power supply. Remember that that's got to be 4 individually plugged in. You still may find there are troubles ahead, especially if you start overclocking the 4090. Now, just look at this scenario. Things may run fine, then in the middle of a PC gaming session, your machine suddenly powers off. You power it back up and everything runs fine again for a while. It could go again within that gaming session, or days could go by. Your PC could suddenly crash, or your PC shuts down again. An issue like this would be very, very difficult to troubleshoot. And believe it or not, it could have been caused by your shiny new GPU. Until this week, I have not heard of a transient spike in power caused by the graphics card. And this is where the GPU is under load and suddenly demands a huge surge in power for only fractions of a second. Now, nearly all power supplies are designed to cope with this surge, but only for very short periods of time. But everything is not created equal, and in lower end components in cheaper power supplies, it's probably going to trigger the over voltage protection, and you would have a PC that's just instantly shut down, losing any unsaved work or game progress. Now, there have also been reports of some of the adapter cables that are going to be bundled with the new graphics cards having a limited number of times that can be plugged and unplugged. It's a cycle, that's what they're calling it, plugging and unplugging. Now, going over this frequency of cycles can lead to failures in the cable. That causes hot spots and melting of wires and connector pins at either the power supply end or the graphics card end. Now, this issue has been highlighted by Nvidia during testing and is currently under investigation. Amendments to the cables are the most likely fix, and under normal circumstances this problem should not arise, as most people are not going to constantly plug and unplug the graphics card from the power supply unit. Now, I would ask that after this video you watch Gamers Nexus or Jace 2 Cents videos that have covered this, and I will link in the video description. Now, wrapping up, if you're buying an RTX4090, it's recommended to purchase an ATX free 1000 to 1200 watt power supply unit. Now, I've looked online and the only ones that I can currently find for pre-order are these. Now, I imagine more will become available nearer to the release of the 4090s on the 12th of October. So if you're getting an RTX 4090 or you're building a new PC using one of the latest CPUs, make sure that the power supply you pick has got enough headroom for your future upgrades. That's going to bring us to the end of this quick video. I wanted to get this message out there, and I thought it important that my subscribers may be considering an RTX 4090. And I just wanted to make sure that you're aware of the power supply requirements. Now, 90% of people on YouTube watching this video probably aren't subscribed to my channel. If you've enjoyed this quick informative video, please do subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I will see you pretty soon in the next one. Peace out.